Hey guys, this is Bill Rice. I'm with Consolidate. We're a digital marketing agency. And today I want to talk to you about website strategies. And so the reason this is kind of top of mind for me is it's the beginning of the year and is always the case at the beginning of every year because clients have gone through a lot of their strategy sessions at the end of the year. They come to us and ask about redesigning their website. And this is just a natural reaction to people looking at their website, looking at their online digital channel and not getting the results that they would like from that channel. And their natural reaction is, we just need to blow this up and start all over, get a different design, get different paths, journeys, build different features and functionality, maybe follow some trends that we're seeing from competitors or from other websites that we like, and ultimately package that up into a complete redesign of your website. In most cases, that is probably not going to get you the best return on your investment for your marketing dollars. So what I advocate is even if you are adamant about doing a redesign, you want to think first about the website strategy. And then in a lot of cases, you'll find out that you can incrementally or should be incrementally iterating, tweaking, optimizing what you currently have versus doing a complete redesign. And that iteration can involve some design as well. But there's probably a lot more to be had by building on or extending what you already have versus starting over from scratch. Now, of course, at Consolidate, we love to do a redesign. It takes all the constraints. In some ways, it's easier for us because we don't have to worry about sort of any of the inherent things that are going on a website that maybe wasn't built by us. But I will still tell you, in most cases, there's more to be had by iterating that website to perform better. So let's get into, again, strategies that will allow you to iterate and get better performance out of your website. So these website strategies are as follows. Number one, we want to first start with the objectives and the audience. What is the actual objective that you're trying to achieve with that website? What do you want visitors to do? What would you be able to look at in your metrics and say, aha, my website is a success? What are those things? So ultimately, most of us will say, well, I wanted to produce revenue. But I would suggest that you break that list into smaller component parts. So it might be form fills for sales leads. It might be actually just getting people on your email list so that you can nurture them into a sale. It might be an actual purchase, a transaction if you're an e-commerce site. It might be downloading something, reading multiple pages, spending a certain amount of time on the site, or doing certain things that you're asking, maybe using some tools that you built into the website. All of those things go into determining whether or not your website is moving you towards your ultimate objective of some form of revenue in most cases. The next piece, and they're kind of related, is what is the audience that's currently on that website? Who are those visitors that are visiting your website? Unfortunately, too many of the people that I started a discovery session with simply don't know who's coming to the website right now. They don't have the tools in place. They don't have things like Google Analytics and Google Search Console in place to tell them who they are and what they're doing. If that is you, then I would encourage you to get my contact information. It should be floating around here somewhere. Contact me and we will set that up for free. It is essential that you understand what's going on your website. And so, if you don't have that in place or you don't know what that is, at least make some educated guesses about what that audience looks like, okay? If you're buying if you're using AdWords, if you're bringing people through paid search, look at the keywords that you're bidding on and the type of traffic that's yielding. If you're just relying on organic results, take a look at the keywords that they're using, the pages that they're landing on, and draw some kind of assumptions as to what they might have been looking for. If you're doing things like Facebook and Twitter, and you're bringing people off of social media, take a look at some of that content and what they've thought they were going to get as they landed on your website. So make some sort of educated guesses about what that audience is today, and then take the second step and think about what the audience should be. So often I see that we're producing content, we're doing things on social media, we might even be buying keywords on AdWords that's simply producing a different visitor from the one that we want. Either it's a visitor that's actually going to bring you maybe a smaller sale than you would like your average sale to be. Maybe it's a smaller client. Maybe you're targeting small business and you're finding out that you're actually getting individuals instead of actually small businesses of 10, 20, 50 people. And so that's bringing you a lower average sale. So look for those disconnects in who that audience is today and who it should be, and see if the things that you're doing on that website or the things that you're doing to generate traffic are potentially bringing you the wrong audience. Okay, so that's number one. What is your objective? What would make you say, aha, my website is a success? And who should that audience be to make sure that you're getting the right people that you want to engage with? All right, number two, and this is kind of similar and related, we want to analyze our traffic and conversions. So when I talk about traffic, that's the actual visitors to the website. And then your conversions are whatever those goals that you are trying to achieve, make sure that they're being completed. So again, this is related to your Google Analytics and your Google Search Console. You've got to make sure those tools in place. And then you want to take a look at the traffic and conversions. And if something's not working, try to figure out why it's not working. If you're not getting the traffic that you need and you're not getting the conversions that you need, let's start to analyze why that's happening. Now, there's a couple of reasons this usually is happening. First and foremost, you just might not have any traffic, right? And so if you're not getting any traffic, there's a reason for that. Oftentimes we see that there are technical reasons. If simply no one's coming to your website or you're getting very little traffic, even the worst website, Google is going to send searches and send traffic. So if you're getting next to no traffic, there is good possibility that you have a technical issue, right? You either haven't submitted your sitemaps properly, you have something blocking, maybe your robots.txt is blocking it, maybe you have a misconfiguration in WordPress or HubSpot. There's a whole bunch of different things that could be happening that could be disadvantaging you. We've seen clients that are actually running two websites simultaneously. They switch from maybe Drupal to WordPress, and they've actually got both of them running. One's running at www, one's running at the regular domain, and so it all looks like duplicate content. And so Google just doesn't even try to figure it out. They just kind of toss the whole thing out. So we've seen a situation like that. But let's take a look at what is the source there. So if you're getting no traffic, it's probably a technical thing. So get somebody to help you get in there and figure out, like, why is at least Google not sending you anything. The other common thing is that you just can't tell if there's any traffic there and any conversions happening. That gets back to, again, Google Analytics. Make sure that that's in place and set up properly. If it's not, get some help to do that. The other thing is, I don't know whether or not I'm getting conversions because I'm not tracking any goals. So even if you're not looking for form fills or actually sales at this point, get some sort of goals in place so that you can determine whether or not you are getting your traffic to do what you want it to do. You're getting your visitors to take the action that you want it to take. So make sure your Google Analytics has some set of goals set up in it so that you can quickly look at those analytics and say, yep, I'm getting traffic and I'm getting that traffic to do what I want it to do, or at least start to build the foundation of an audience or some loyalty or some engagement that I can leverage later in a monetization strategy. And then the last thing that we see, and this is actually something we see a lot of, is that you've got a ton of content on your website, but there's only a few pages that are actually getting any traffic. So you may have hundreds of pages of content, maybe stuff that you've invested in, or you've had writers write, or you've done it yourself. But for whatever reason, you're only getting traffic to 3 or 4 or 5 pages. There's something to be done there. So if you've got that problem, I've got a strategy for you that we've been implementing very well. But look specifically for that, because a lot of times some people will look in there and they're like, oh, even if they've got a lot of traffic, they're like, oh, I've got a lot of traffic, and so I'm going to keep producing content. And what they don't realize realizes all of that new content that they're building is not, for whatever reason, is not actually engaging new traffic and growing. And so there's just kind of flatline. And so incrementally, as you produce content, you should see, up into the right motion. If you're not, then we need to take a look at what's going on there. Okay, so we're going to analyze our traffic and our conversions. All right. Here's the next strategy. Start thinking, even on your website, even with written content, thinking in terms of playlist. So this is a term that we hear a lot of and we've thought of or used as it relates to music or maybe even on YouTube and videos. But I'm encouraging you to use that concept and start designing it into your website. So this is something that I noticed Brady Shearer, who's the CEO over at ProChurchTools.com. And he's using this concept of playlist, and I thought it was genius to take it in there, because what that does, just by using that terminology, now there's ways to organize your content already on your website. You can place your individual articles into categories, and you can use categories, and all that functionality is built into WordPress to make it really easy to categorize content. A lot of people aren't even doing that, so I definitely encourage you to do that. But by just relabeling that concept instead of categories, relabeling it as playlist, it gets your visitor thinking in terms of, hey, I came in here looking for this thing. They landed me on this page. It gave me a little bit of information, maybe about what I'm looking for, or maybe it's not even giving me what I expected. But if that is sitting within a playlist, then it's just natural for them to go, okay, I'm going to watch the next thing. So if I'm watching a video or I'm reading written content and the first one gave me a little bit of value, then because I've labeled this or I've designed it as a playlist and I show them that I have other related content in this playlist that they should consume, it just naturally gets them thinking in terms of sort of subconsciously just moving through all of that content and saying, well, just like a course that I would take, if I want to learn about this, I should actually consume all of this content. And so it gets you those multiple page views. It gets you, which gives you advantages with Google and the way that they kind of do search engine, their algorithms, that sort of thing. So really encourage you to think in terms of playlist and start organizing, first and foremost, organizing your content into these categories and then designing it in such a way that your audience just immediately gets the fact that there's a playlist of other associated things that they should be taking a look at after they're finished with this piece. All right, the next thing, and this relates back to when I was talking about that situation where you have just a little bit of, or you have all your traffic coming just a few pages and you got all this content out here. So this strategy will solve that problem, and that is to consolidate, lengthen, and maybe even diversify your content. So this is a strategy that we've been doing all last year with a lot of our clients who we produced a ton of content for over the years. What we've been doing is going back and finding one of two situations. One, a really strong page that brings lots of traffic, and we're looking for in this pocket of other content that's not yielding a lot of traffic, is there other sort of related content that should actually be inside of this article, or we could actually extend and make this article more thorough, more comprehensive, more detailed about this topic by taking some of this existing content and moving it into this article. So that's one situation. Strong article, good traffic, probably good position in Google, and I have some other associated content that actually probably belongs inside of this one longer piece of content. And we're trying to get these, if we're talking about articles, we're trying to get these to somewhere over 1,000 words, okay? The other situation is that we have all of these little pages, maybe 5, 10 pages about a relatively similar topic, okay? But they're all scattered and they're getting little teeny pieces of traffic, but none are really getting a lot of traffic. right? So we find the one in that group of maybe 10 different articles that seems to be the most authoritative, or Google's given the best position to, or it's getting the most traffic. All of those are kind of the same thing. You could kind of, if it's getting most of the traffic, you could probably guess that Google has somewhere along the way ranked that into a reasonable position. So figure out where that sort of the main article is. If you don't have one, you can just select one that seems to be the kind of the most logical choice there, and then take all this other content that's not getting any traffic and consolidate that into one article, right? Or you could create another piece of content that's a new piece of content that actually takes all those 5-10 articles and puts them together and puts it into a logical outline and sequence and put all that information in here. So again, you have a nice, long, comprehensive article on that topic. So again, great concept. Originally actually got this idea from Neil Patel at neilpatel.com. So kudos to him, but it's been definitely a moneymaker. If you have a lot of content, you should be thinking about consolidating and lengthening sort of cornerstone pieces of that content, and then potentially even diversifying. So that means taking that content and then actually doing a video about it and putting that video inside of there as well to, again, lengthen, consolidate, and diversify that content. Google loves that kind of pruning and maintenance to your website. So I encourage you to do that. The other thing, and you've heard me mention this a couple different times, but consider putting a video in every single one of your pages. So if you have the ability to do video, you're comfortable doing video, even things like this, right? This doesn't take a lot of work, doesn't take a lot of expense, but it gives another format. So anytime you have a visitor coming, you have all kinds of different types of learners, and you should be educating your client base. And so some people are visual and like video, and some people like to skim through the written word. So I just encourage you to do both, right? And so every single page, I encourage you to, in the new year, sort of systematically go through those pages, especially the ones that are ranking, and build or create a video to sit with that article to enhance it and diversify it. Again, Google loves that multimedia approach. So consider every page having a video associated with it. Next, coach your clients. This is one thing that I see over and over again, and I hear this objection over and over again with clients, is they don't want to educate their clients. They feel like that's the value they get if they engage with us, if they buy something with us, and I kind of want to hold all of that information back. I would encourage you to coach your clients with your content. A couple different reasons for this. One, you're actually conditioning an easier sale. So if you're getting your prospects and your visitors to your website to start thinking in terms of your philosophy, thinking the way that you do, agreeing with the types of strategies and tactics that you're going to propose to them, it will make a much easier sale. The other thing is there's a whole market out there that you'll never be able to touch, but by helping them, or maybe they have the capabilities to do it just as well as you, and you give them the idea, but they're doing it internally, those are also going to become referral sources, loyal people that are going to advocate you. So there's all kinds of reasons to begin coaching your prospects and your clients and your web visitors. So make sure that your content definitely provides some coaching, some strategy, some idea generation for your potential clients and your web visitors. And then last, that's not actually my last one. Second to last one is build a list. This is something that I've just, towards the end of the year, I just reminded myself as we were doing some campaigns, you can never underestimate the value of email and having an email list. So as we were pushing to the end of the year and trying to produce end of the year results and revenue, the clients that we were supporting with email marketing, it was really easy to do that hard push at the end of the year because we had that email list, and we were able to make our audience, we were able to make our prospect, we were able to make our sales list aware of the special offers and opportunities that we had for them, and we were able to push revenue very effectively at the end of the year. So if you're someone that's being tracked or moving on a quarterly basis or some sort of incremental, or you're just trying to month over month achieve positive revenue, again, start to build that list. So make sure that your website has the design and the functionality and the engagement, the opportunities to actually grow an email list. Despite everything that you want to believe about email, it's still one of the most productive marketing channels that you can have. And to have a list of tens of thousands of people who have actually engaged with your website, have engaged with your brand before, to be able to push against for revenue, to make aware of your new opportunities, products, and offers, can make all of the difference when you're trying to hit your monthly revenue goals. So make sure that you're building a list and you're monetizing more with email. And then the last thing, which we've been toying with a little bit, and we've done this, and I think it's just becoming more popular and more effective because people are expecting it on websites more than they were in the past, and that is to always be present. So using chatbots in order to always 24/7 be prepared and able to answer questions when people get stuck on your website. So things like drift are becoming really powerful to a lot of our clients, and it allows them to literally have this bot running there 24/7 that allows the visitors to get unstuck, to ask questions, to potentially start to engage, and then your salespeople jump into that conversation. So you're using a little bit of AI, you're using a little bit of bot sort of technology, and then your sales force to kind of make all that work and shorten that cycle between, let's say, the traditional form fill and then trying to follow up and get back to them. So always being present. All right, so our 8 things, one more time just to recap. First and foremost, make sure that you consider your objectives and your audience. Number 2, analyze your traffic and your conversions. Number 3, think about content in terms of playlists, conditioning your audience to consume more than one piece of content from you during a session. Consolidate, lengthen, and diversify the content that you already have. Consider adding a video to every single page on your website. Building list and monetizing with email. Again, email is a great way to push those end of month, end of quarter, end of year revenue goals. And then last but not least, start to consider these always present sort of technologies with chatbots and those sorts of things. So hope you like that. If you did, I would love for you to hit the like button and subscribe so you can get more of this content. And looking forward to seeing you on the next video.